Hi everyone. I've decided to make this video as a lot of you, well, most of you are probably aware that I've been trying to campaign and I've got a petition going for this new treatment, Amicapsil, which is for pressure sores and pressure ulcers, with incredible results. I've been a user myself. I've been using it now for almost a year on a grade 4 pressure ulcer that was badly infected, and I was in and out of hospitals and, etc., etc. So it was quite horrendous. Plus, it puts your lifestyle on hold. Anyway, since I've been using Amicapsil, it's changed my life. My wounds more or less healed. Um, I tried to get individual funding because I've got two other pressure sores. So I've been trying to get the funding for that, and I was declined. This is the reason why I started this petition, to raise as much awareness as possible and also help the 700,000 plus a year pressure sore and ulcer sufferers. And with over 60,000 plus deaths a year, which I think personally these figures are probably quite substantially higher now, because the figures I've got are quite old figures. Yeah, I started with pressure sores in 2015, so I've been suffering now 8 years, and some people have been suffering a lot longer. And, with me being in a wheelchair, paraplegic, unable to walk or stand, um, you know, pressure sores I'm going to be prone to for, potentially the rest of my life. And a lot of other people are going to be in the same position. I've met loads of people and I've seen a lot of horrendous pressure sores. So looking at mine basically is nothing compared to some of them I have seen. Some of these wounds, are absolutely massive in size. Some of them are probably not going to be able to treat, you know, as good with the powder if they're a massive size. The powder is quite expensive. So hopefully Willingford, who do the powder and the capsule, hopefully eventually they might come out with bigger size bottles, because the bottles are quite tiny. But I wouldn't let that put anybody off, because this honestly it's like a miracle treatment, and it's potentially save thousands of lives and reduce the number of pressure sore sufferers in the UK alone. The cost to the NHS is millions, and a couple of 2 or 3 billion a year, maybe even more, just for wound care. So I think they could actually reduce that, and also it'll free up, nurses' time and, other healthcare professionals' time to deal with other, conditions besides pressure sores. I'm not saying everybody can treat themselves with this Amicapsil. I mean, me, fortunately, I've been able to. Some people obviously are not going to be able to, but there'll be many out there that can treat themselves and then get the sore, looked at after, get it checked off a nurse or a professional tissue viability, so they can overlook the wound, which again takes pressure off, the NHS staff. This campaign, I've never been passionate about anything as much as this in my life. I nearly died from, lost my life, could have quite easily lost my life from pressure ulcer. I got rushed into hospital and I was in hospital 3 months. I had to have surgery, debridement. I got a bone infection, which was osteomyelitis, which is still underlining, which is horrendous because they had to remove my coccyx bone. The wound after the surgery, I was so shocked at seeing the size of the wound. It was like 7 centimeters in diameter and right down to the bone. So, yeah. And again, this could all be, well, not more or less eliminated, through the use of Amicapsil. Cutting down hospital bed, cutting out, patients having to go in hospital and be on intravenous and, constant antibiotics, blood tests, surgery. All this costs the NHS an absolute fortune. Using Amicapsil to start with, yes, it probably is going to be expensive, but as the wounds decrease in size, you don't need as much powder. So therefore, it's going to be more cost effective to the NHS, and giving the patients, a better lifestyle. It's like me myself. I was virtually bedbound for 2 years. It was horrendous. I hated it, you know. And I'll be honest, you know, if I had the guts, I'd have took my own life. And, you know, there is people out there that do that. Precious souls, people tend to think of the elderly, you know, in care homes, etc., you know, which a majority, they are, you know, the biggest sufferers. But this could even help them, you know. It could be your mother, your father, you know, your son, your daughter, that's got a pressure sore, you know. Probably most of us in our lifetime will come across somebody who's actually got pressure wounds or ulcers. And this campaign means so much, and every signature is valuable. I appreciate every single one of you that's helping and supporting. There's not just me on it. There's a lot of people involved now. So it's a massive, a massive thing for everybody. You know, Spinal Injuries Association, you know, and, you know, there's even, you know, people with diabetes, you know, they get pressure sores. You know, you've got, you know, people with Becker muscular dystrophy, stroke victims, people who are bedbound, you know. And to be honest, nobody should be bedbound. You know, we're all entitled to a life, and, you know, we all should have a quality of life. You know, it's awful that this is a situation that we're in, and it can be prevented. And, you know, with everybody's help out there, and support, and them signatures are very important, because I've got to get 10,000. Well, we've got to get 10,000, and then we can be heard in, you know, Parliament. And we need to push this and really get everybody involved behind us. And it takes literally, what, a minute, you know, just to sign your signature. And if you pass the information on to your friends, your relatives, anybody you know, and just get them to sign. I know some people, you know, they get bombarded, and I have bombarded people with this, and they look at it and probably think, oh, I can't be bothered. But just say to yourself, that could be your mother, your daughter, you know, a member, a loved one. Yeah. And would you really want to lose a loved one through, you know, a pressure sore or a pressure wound? Because that, you know, it's just unbearable to think about. And that is happening. That is actually happening. You know, you've got, on average, they reckon 1 death every 9 minutes from pressure wounds, which is pretty horrendous. But again, them are all figures. So, you know, you may be looking at 2 deaths every 9 minutes, you know. So please keep them signatures coming. Share this far and wide. Feel free to share my video and get it out there. And I appreciate you all. And yeah, let's just get this, let's get this available on the NHS. Thank you very much for listening, and thank you all for your time. Love you all loads. Bye for now.